alone are enough to consider a superpower. But with great power comes great responsibility. So I think that there could have been a situation where you realized something, or had to assume a presence that puts you at contrast with like the vast majority of those around you. And so you could have been ostracized for what you knew that others didn't. And there could be something about like time revealing the truth of all things and people's misconceptions of you just revealing themselves to be misconceptions, like without you even having to prove that you're not away, you're being like your name is being redeemed. And your quality of character is being proven as well. Because you're the kind of person where like when things get crazy, you make the best logical choice for yourself and others. And I think you understand and anticipate that other people aren't going to understand you. So you're probably used to being in roles where you understand other people a lot better than they understand you. And so you may even be reserved against like a lot of self-expression. Like you probably are not the kind of person who allows people to deep dive into your psyche, but you probably are the kind to deep dive into other people's. That's like, like what you can do here, your range here is admirable. But it also like maybe comes at a cost like for you personally. Like, I don't know how much of this you can really turn off. So there could be a lot of like ongoing energies within you all the time where you're just absorbing other people's energy. Silver Surfer, he's a guy, he reminds me of a lot of like Aquarius energy. But he's a super big loner. Like nobody gets him. He might have like antisocial personality disorder or something. And you could relate to that. Also, I watched an Analyzing Evil YouTube video about Lou something from Nightcrawler. You could relate to that. Like you could have some kind of personality difference here that makes you stand out to other people. Like, yeah, people notice that you're weird. Like, if you felt that, yeah, they do. They know that you're like a little bit off mentally or like a little bit imbalanced, and they can tell, but it's a reflection of your connectedness, honestly. Like, you can't have everything. So, I think people understand that whatever makes you different, weird, or even inconvenient to them is necessary to whatever your practice or like just way of being or philosophy is. So it can't be removed from you. Like, this is who you are. So people are getting a chance to like see you for who you are and then decide like whether or not that's something or someone that they really want around them. I think most people though aren't really like done. Like what they see makes them even more curious about what there is to know. So you probably attract a lot of like obsessive people, people who like make it a point to keep themselves around you because of how attractive you are. It bothers me that this is not clear, but it's also like 10 p.m. on a Friday, and I'm just trying to record some shit. Yeah, there's a lot of attraction towards your energy, even though I feel like not a lot of that actually gets expressed. It could be because you attract like same-sex people. It's possible. And so there's like a resistancy to like even admit what chemistry does exist and like what passionate primal desire to be carried out, because it's like there's an understanding that like there's some kind of maybe even social inconvenience or like internal cognitive dissonance about whether or not one should engage with you. Like people are unsure if it's safe to like engage with your energy. You're giving very much alien. Alien. You could be culturally different than like the majority of people in your surrounding area, or physically tall or large, have some kind of intimidating presence, face tattoos, muscles, resting bitch face, 1,000 yard stare. Yeah, like you're carrying some lore, either that people know about or that people can assume that you would have. Like, and I feel like these are other people who have that same things. Like, if you have PTSD and like you behave in ways that indicate you have PTSD, Other people that have PTSD see you and they're like, yeah, that guy has PTSD. It's kind of like, like if you know, kind of thing, or like I have sympathy or empathy for this because I have gone through this. Like, um, yeah. And if it's not like that's other people's energy towards you, then this is your energy towards other people in the world. And you could be a leader of like the underdogs in some kind of way because you can see them in a way that most people can't because you have existed at the same depths as them. Like instead of real recognizes real, this is like prey recognizes prey, kind of. Like we've been abused by the same kind of a thing or like whatever. And you might find that like people of a certain kind of like flock to you because they understand their belonging with you and they feel comforted by just like having you around because you look like them. Like if you're in an area of like mostly conservative people and then like gay people like come around you and you're gay and they're like, oh my god, like you're gay. Or it's like if you're like in an area that's like all black and or yeah, all black, let's just go with that. And then like you're a white person and then like you see another white person and you're like, oh my god, we're white. You know, like it's kind of like this energy people like wanting to click up with you for what they see about you that comforts them. But I don't know that you always get like something in return for that. Or I don't know that you should expect anything in return, but I just feel like occasionally situations can be primarily one-sided where you're like the leader and authority and you don't really get as much of a shoulder to like lean on. Lean on me when you are down. Yeah, I feel like you're a person who could have like quite a bit of neuroses. And occasionally that could like stifle you from like being able to like take action in the way that you maybe normally would. Like I feel like people could have tried to like break you down, like break your freedom, break your character, especially if you did have even more of a rebellious, different self identity, public identity before. It's like people could have done things to you to make you default to a more conservative identity. Like I used to have locks and then at some point I cut them all off and then like relaxed my hair. And I honestly do feel like that was probably like the result of some kind of like spiritual attack on me, but I also don't regret that I did it because, you know, who cares? So, I feel like yeah, you could be a person who is like on the other end of other people's inability to emotionally control themselves. And that's like burdensome for you know? Because you manifest a lot of people's triggered reactions because you're a triggering presence. I don't know that like you're intentionally like malicious in being this way. It just kind of feels like it's the default of yourself. People are challenged with like understanding that in their relationship with you, and I don't know that everyone always can. Because like I started this reading out talking about how it's your perspective and ability to perceive that makes you so different from like 99% of people. So like if there was like a rank or like a tier and like hey, I can see things and I understand things about the world and I and how based in truth and reality that actually is, you'd be like in the 1%. Like you have knowledge about the world that like most people don't. Once again, like feeling like this like more elite energy, this more like specified technician kind of energy, like whatever your skill set or your like action exists, like your purpose exists, it's in something more unique, and like maybe self-driven, goal-driven, purpose-driven. Like this whole account is called Soldier of Sekhmet, so you could have like some kind of mission in life that you're pursuing, and you've been set aside from a society in order to like, you know, go on this scuba dive, like this risky, perilous mission with special tools, special teams, special players. That's kind of what this feels like. So, like, it's okay. Like, you should accept the fact that no one understands you because, yeah, like, no one, like, why would anybody understand you? How could they? You know? Yeah, how could they? How could they understand, like, when they've never been to where you're going, you know, and they never probably will? Like, who can really say that they've flown in a chariot above mountains? not many people, like, the stuff that you do on a regular basis is like the stuff of other people's dreams. You know, like, it's like a far off fantasy, or like a story that they heard. Like, your life is like a movie. And I think you're meant to be like a living example of a path, like a reference point to other people. It's just kind of giving me like Hercules energy. Because his mission is like, I want to return to the gods. So I have to prove myself by taking on like these daunting journeys, tasks like fighting these beasts. All the while I have to like overcome my insecurity about my worthiness, or like it, because you know, I'm sure at points in his training he was like, oh my god, what if I don't beat this guy and I disappoint my dad? So who's a god? Yeah, I mean, there can be pressure, a lot of pressure from like the environment and the authorities that exist there on you, and that has definitely had like a psychological impact. But you're challenged with being able to find peace and like doing whatever like internal work you have to do for yourself to maintain your vibe despite everything going on. And that's like a testament to your capacity to gain like further power in the community or in the society, or like see more progress towards the end goal. Yeah, the Magician in the reverse. I'll just move it up. Some of you guys could be like about to get a promotion, but the promotion isolates you. It's like, yeah, you're moving up, but like there's a sacrifice too. Like it could be a literal sacrifice because we have Shadow Wizard Money Gang. In some like spiritual cults, you have to do like an animal sacrifice in order to be initiated. Not saying that everybody's on that timing, but if you're like a real OG, like a and I feel like a lot of us here are like real OGs. And like in my spiritual journey, I've been like hesitant to like really speak on like everything I know, because I just like, I don't know if the world is ready for like what I have to say. Because I am like such a, oh, I'm sorry. I'm such a like a truth speaker, and I don't feel like this kind of information should be like, I feel like people should know like what's out there, you know? And I feel like part of my purpose is to like be the one who like tells people, because like I only know because I grew up in it, you know? Like it's in my family, like I was raised around it. So that could lend to some of your perspective differences. Like I feel like if you could come from some kind of society or culture or just like very close-knit community where like if you know, you know, like if you're not one of us, then don't come around, kind of a thing, because we're defensive about our shit. Like Erica Badu, like I'm sensitive about my shit. So I feel like I feel like your identity is just very, very, very unique. And I can't like emphasize that enough, because the more like confidence you have in that uniqueness, the more creative freedom that you'll be willing to use. And then maybe even the quicker some like your advancement and like progression can come in, because we have two aces coming in like right towards the end. And it's coming out underneath this energy of you like chasing a dream, seeing something come into like fruition through faith, like maybe even doing the impossible and wielding some kind of like dark power, or just like really dominating power while doing that. Like your control over yourself is so extreme that people want to give you the control over other people. Like people trust you with control over them or other things that are like equally as important. And importance is like intensity, like saturation or dark. So like this could be like this energy of you becoming a therapist. Like that's like kind of what I have been doing up until now. But if it's not like as light attributed, then it's like you're the kind of people put up for like big missions. Because you can be trusted to handle more darkness than like what's really normal. Oh shit, I just dropped it. Like, you know, this is you. This is you. If you're resonating with this energy, this is your potential. Even if like you don't operate out of this. Like, you know, like this could be just like what you keep tucked and you haven't been living in it because you're like, well, you know, I have an ideal version of myself that I'm committed to. You know, like you could be like, you could be in the phase of your life where like, I'm going to save the world. And if you feel like that, you know, I was there too. But there's something about finding the balance in between these two things. Between like the passion to grow individually and also the willingness to share what you know in order to help other people get to where they need to be. And as long as you're balanced, it doesn't matter how dark or how light you really are, as long as it's like neutral, which is like I've been talking a lot about how I'm ruled by Mercury. So I'm allowed to exist in this neutral energy where I don't have to be good or bad. I just have to be me. And as long as I can live with myself, then I can live with myself, kind of a thing. So you could be that kind of a person. And in that way, you're like hand forging your identity and you're being very conscious about who you are. You're making all free, independent choices. Like you're really, truly exercising all your freedoms. More than what's average. And that's also part of what distinguishes you as an authority is like you're the one who's willing to do the shit, to go to the lengths, to wield the blade. Like you have tools at your disposal that you're like even well trained in using. And he has like this little like okay, I think it's a little like bird skeleton, so some of you guys could have like pirate vibes. Like Captain Jack Sparrow maybe, or like just like Monkey D. Luffy or Zoro. It's also giving like Inquisitor or like Conquistador. Because there is like, you know, devil horns, you know? Like, I feel like whatever you're here to do, you're here to do it with some force. So, or at least you're like capable of like showing off some force. Like you're here to like mark your territory or like regulate the energy. And that's like noted. And you're respected for that. And like the lengths that you'll go to do that, maybe even like in multiple places in the world, or like maybe you'll go like really far. Like I traveled across the country to get to where I currently am right now in California. So maybe you've traveled in some kind of way, and that lends to like your culturedness, which also, you know, has like given details to like your sword. Like there's something like it could be something like carved into it or something like that. I don't know. Your stuff just seems like it's nice and it's very unique to you. Like you're special. You're the special, like, you know, Lego movie Master Builder energy. I made a collective video about that before, like a couple weeks ago, I think. So you guys could be in like creative mode in your life right now. And you're meant to be doing that from like this detached perspective. Like the Silver Surfer energy is like I'm away, like I'm in space observing my life and the possibilities of it from like a detached perspective, and then I can clearly see what I feel most motivated to pursue, and then I can do that with like passion without holding back, because I'm not anxious anymore about who I am and how deserving I am, because I know that I've built myself, or that life has molded me into the perfect version of myself that I need to be in order to like wield some kind of authority, to like have this presence. Like for me, like an example of this is like I was reading tarot for like 5 years before I ever sold a tarot reading. So by the time I actually sold the tarot reading, I had like no reason to doubt that I wasn't going to be able to do it well, you know? This is like the energy of doing the training, going through the hard stuff. Capricorn energy over the long term to build a skill set. Being very powerful, very potent, very intense in that presence, and then letting your leadership result in the material world as a result of what you've done to build it, to craft it. And then even being willing to communicate that to others, like how you see yourself and what you think you should be able to do, like what roles you think that you can play. Because like some element of like confidence may need to play in here. We have a lot of cardinal energy. Everything but Libra. Cancer, Capricorn, and Aries. It's like, I'm gonna get this shit out the mud because I said so. Or like, I am the shot caller. Big baller. Feel like I'm Kobe. Chief Keef energy. I've been balling so damn hard, I swear I think that I'm Kobe. Young bull out this rap shit because I think that I'm Kobe. And since I think I'm Kobe, my bitch don't like to know me. This is for them niggas to be thinking the Kobe. Hell yeah. Yeah, and then we have the beginning again. So like, dude, get super creative about whoever you want to be, because I feel like the sky really is the limit. Like, truly. Like, the cards confirm. So, yeah, I think this is the last one I'm going to film tonight. So, I'm going to end this now. Thank you guys for watching, and it'll be uploaded soon. Bye!